What's going on, YouTube? This is Boxingwave. We are back. I normally don't do pound for pound lists, maybe once a year, maybe every once in a blue, but I did one because it's hot right now. Obviously, Inoue just won Undisputed in his second division. So everyone's talking about him and Bud. People are definitely leaving a lot of comments on my videos to talk about it. So every once in a blue, I'm like, all right, I'll do a video, and it's usually just once a year. I'm not the type that rearrange my list after every fight, every weekend. I just don't do it. People care a lot more about pound for pound than I do. And the reason why I don't care is because there's no official list. It's based on your opinion. It's completely subjective. So what I did here is grab a bunch of names, put them all in order. It didn't really take me that long. I did check out ESPN and Ring Magazine and a little bit of BoxRec. So I put up a bunch of names, and then I put a little list of guys that just didn't make the cut, and I'll explain why. My criteria, which is what I just created, is from these 5 things. Number 1 for me, quality wins is number 1. Performance is number 2. Titles and unifications is number 3. Multi-divisional champ is number 4. And number 5 is just not coming off a loss. And when I say not coming off a loss, again, it really depends on what type of loss, right? Like when Canelo lost to Bivol, he went up a division to fight Bivol, challenged him. He's already a 4-division champ. He went up to another division, lost the title to the champion there, or lost a fight to the champion there. He was still on my list at that point because it's the way he lost. All right, but you'll see in this list why other people didn't make the list, because they're coming off the loss. Maybe they were pound for pound before, but they didn't make the list right now because it's the way that they lost, and I want to see what they can do when they come back. But I'll explain all that once I get to the names. All right, so the reason why I ranked it in this way is because quality wins is very, very important to me. Quality wins, and yes, that's another thing that could be subjective, but I think wins, who you're beating, is more important. Okay, it gotta make sense. You gotta be fighting the very best. It doesn't automatically mean winning a title. You can win a lot of titles in different divisions, because I do not think that every division has the same amount of talent. Not every division do. You're not going to sit here and convince me that middleweight guys is more talent at middleweight than there is at super middleweight or junior middleweight. I don't believe so. Okay, I don't think so. Right now at middleweight, officially, people that's officially there, I don't think that division is as good and has as much talent. And I'm talking about the champs, I'm talking about the top contenders, is as good as the middleweight guys. You're not going to convince me that the cruiserweight division right now is as good as the light heavy division. I think the guys that light heavy is a little bit better. So that's what I mean about quality. I know a lot of people like to put multi-divisional championship, and that is a big thing. Cool, but quality wins means a lot. Bivol is a guy that's on this list, but he only has 1 title in 1 division. Why he's on this list? Because quality wins. He has some quality wins. He's beat some really good people that beat really good people. And that's why he's on the list. He doesn't have a bunch of divisions. Adrian Broner had a lot of divisions. He has champ. He's 3-4 champ, division champ. 3-4 division champ. Who did he actually beat? That's why quality wins is number 1. Number 2, performance. Okay, you beat these guys, but how did you perform? How did you actually perform? We have a champion right now, and what's his name? Rolling Romero. He's a champion at 140. We saw how that fight with Barroso. First of all, how did you even get the fight for a title when you just got knocked out? How did you even get to fight Barroso? And who the hell is Barroso anyway? And then people say that the stoppage was a robbery. So when it comes to performance, how good did you do? Was it a robbery? You know what I mean? Did you look good in that fight? Sometimes you might not look so good because of the quality of fighter opponent that you are facing. But if you're fighting a guy that's really okay and you just struggle to beat him and you're a champion now, it's like, all right, you struggled against a person that's really not that good. So performance is number 2. Obviously, titles and unifications, undisputed, obviously is very important. Again, I think tournament settings are even stronger than that, simply because you don't have to cherry pick titles. Again, you can win multi-divisional titles, in different weight classes. who are you fighting. A lot of these guys can have the option of cherry picking and not going straight to the very best in the division. You know what I mean? Inoue did that when he moved up to 122. We went straight to the best guy and then beat the other best guy. You know, it's just quality and over just winning titles. Like, how are you winning these titles? All right. Obviously, multi-divisional champs. Again, I just explained it. And coming off of a loss, again, I explained it a little while ago. So let's get into number 10. Oh, let's start off with a few people that's there because let's get this out the way. Before I even get to number 10, let's get this out the way. Tank is on the list. All right. I love Tank. He's a personal favorite. I love Tank. All right. I'm a big Tank fan. But I'm going to use logic in everything that I say here when it comes to this list. The reason why I didn't put Tank on the list is because I realized that Tank's biggest win is against Ryan Garcia, who is his best win is against Luke Campbell. I don't even know how good Ryan is at this point. Not too long ago, he was talking about possibly retiring from boxing. I don't know how good Ryan really is. I'm still not unsure. You know, I don't know. I don't even know if he can actually campaign at 140 and make 140. I don't know what we're getting out of Ryan Garcia. All right, he looks good, but Tank, the amount of time that I've been watching him now, I'm kind of disappointed at the fact that that was his biggest test. A guy that is still green, you know, and if that's your best win, I don't know. You know, I mean, I personally didn't think it was shocking that he beat Ryan, you know, but most people looked at it as Ryan being dangerous for Tank. All right. I didn't think so, but Tank, he looks like he is legit, but I want him to fight, or had wanted him to fight certain people that would be dangerous for him, and he still hasn't provided that to me yet. So I didn't put him on a list, all right? I think he is better than some of the people on the list, but I'm basing it all personal preference on what I see in the ring and not what he actually did, right? So I'm still waiting on that. He's not even in a champion, and he's just holding on to a junior title, a regular world title, and not unifying, not doing anything like that. So I didn't put him on the list. I didn't put Bam on the list neither. I think Bam is just right outside of the list. You know, he had a great year. He had one of the better wins against Sonny this year. And, you know, he had a great year last year as well. But at the end of the day, you know, you got Estrada, you know, you got Chocolatito, you got Yoka. And even though he's back down at at flyweight, not light flyweight, but like at flyweight. Now that he's back down at flyweight, beating Sonny, that's cool. I know he beat Soren Visai, and I know he beat Quadras. Those two are not the top tier right now. They're kind of fading guys that were top tier guys 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? So I know Estrada is getting older too, and I know Chocolatito is definitely getting older, but those two are still above the other two who are fading. And even though Bam beat those guys and he's very, very young, I think there's a lot of room for him to be on this list, possibly as early as next year, you know, or the following year. But I think he's going to make it if he keeps doing what he's doing, you know. And I think at some point, maybe he does fight Estrada or one of those guys. Maybe he avenges his brother's loss to Yoka and fight him. But I just got him barely outside of the list because those wins were good at his age. He's like 23 years old. Very, very good wins, beating Sonny undefeated. But I still want to see just a little bit more. Maybe one defining win. I know Sonny is the defining win. It is the best win. But I personally just think that he just barely missed the list. All right. The reason why I don't have Fury on here, Tyson Fury, is because not just because he's a heavyweight, but coming off the performance against Francis Ngannou, avoiding the other top guy, cherry picking fights. Again, he's another guy, like, I look at him like Tank, like, he looks the part, but I just want him to just take a risk, man, and hopefully he gets Usyk next, and then we can revisit this. I don't have Arrow on the list for obvious reasons. He just got dominated and stopped by Terrence Bud Crawford. I gotta see how he looks when he comes back. When you take a beating like that, that's not like Jamel losing to Canelo moving up or Canelo losing to Bevo moving up. The guy got beat down so bad that I don't even know if he's gonna be the same fighter at this point. I don't know. I don't know how he's gonna look at 154. I don't know how he looks. I know he was unified. I know I had him high before, but right now there's a lot of good fighters out there, and I gotta see how Errol look when he returns. I just don't know. And the same thing with Jamel. Jamel is coming off a loss to Canelo, but Jamel has been extremely inactive, And I know there's fighters here that's been inactive and haven't fought that much, but Jamel is going on almost 2 years without fighting at 154. And the thing is that even though he was undisputed, the guy that he beat in Castano hasn't even been active neither. Like, I don't even know. Castano has not fought since he lost to Jamel. Jamel has not defended the title at 154. And you got guys now that he hasn't fought, that's putting in work, like Tim Tszyu, Brian Mendoza. Lubin has bounced back from his losses, and there's a new crop of fighters, or guys that were around that are stepping up, that's doing their thing on 154, and I don't even know what Jamel is going to do, so I don't have him on a list, not simply because he lost to Canelo, but I just don't know where he's at right now. And I know he's going through some personal issues and stuff, but I just got to wait and see. So those are the 5 guys that just missed it, or guys that was on my list at one point that's not on my list today. All right, let's start out with number 10. Number 10 was the hardest for me to pick simply because he had one of the worst performances, if not the worst performance this year. But it's a guy that I truly believe is a pound-for-pound fighter and probably one of the best fighters in the world, and that's Shakur Stevenson. All right. Obviously, he didn't have a good win against Edwin De Los Santos, but he is a 3-division champion. He did beat. Who did he beat? Oscar Valdez, undefeated Oscar Valdez. I think he's 26 years old, 3-division champ again, like I said. And I still think that he's one of the best fighters in the world. This is his first really bad performance in his career, but he still did enough to win. But he's at the very bottom of this list because even though I think he is a better talent than some of these other fighters on the list, because of this most recent performance, and I understand that he's saying he was injured, he didn't fight with a left hand, and that's cool. But he's at number 10 simply because he didn't have a good year, but he's done a lot in his career, and this is the reason why he's on the list. Again, 2-division champ, unified champ. I got to give it to him. He's done a lot in a short period of time, and I think he's even done a little bit more than what Bam was able to. I think it was really between Shakur and Bam. All right. So anyway, Shakur is at number 10. Number 9, I have Estrada, Juan Francisco Estrada. He didn't fight this year. He hasn't fought since last December, where he beat Chocolatito. Again, I'm basing this off paper wins. Even if the fights were close, the second and third, I think the second I really was bothered by the decision, and that is because of the judging. But those 2 fights were very, very close. Again, quality win, very good quality win. I mean, I know Chocolatito's gotten older, but he's still very, very good. And Estrada got wins over Soer, Rungvisai, Quadras, Chocolatito. Just waiting for him to fight Yoka. Also waiting for him to fight Bam too. But Estrada is good, and I know he hasn't. It's been a year since he's fought, but again, he's still the top guy right now at 115. And hopefully he'll get in the ring soon. But I think the only issue is inactivity. As far as performances and everything else, he's good. He's just got to be a little bit more active. All right. So this is why he's further down. He could be higher up on this list, but he's further down because of the inactivity. And but he's still the top guy at 115. I think resume-wise, he's the top guy right now on paper. All right. And plus, he's a multi-divisional champion as well, and with quality wins on top of that. Number 8, Better BF. I have Better BF at number 8. He has not been the most active fighter neither. Basically fighting once a year, because he always gets injured in between fights. So if you schedule a fight, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, if you schedule a fight with Arthur Beterbiev, you're not going to get the fight on the first date. You're going to get the fight on the second. All right, there's going to be a reschedule or two. And Beterbiev did fight Anthony Yarde this year. He fought Joe Smith last year. He has quality wins at the super lightweight division. He holds. I'm sorry, I said super lightweight. I like light heavyweight. I'm bugging. Beterbiev quality wins, unification, 3 titles, performances, always dominating, stopping people. You know, he's common opponents. He has common opponents with a lot of other good fighters like Kovalev and Bivol. But Beterbiev just always busts everybody up. Like, he always beats them down. You know, Marcus Brown, like, he's always just beating everyone down. You know what I mean? So, Beterbiev has to be on a list because not only is he unified, but he's the performances, the quality wins and the performances is really up there. You know, I know he's a champion in only one division, but, I mean, it's the quality, you know. And I know he's getting older, and, you know, I think that is the issue here. And I think the other issue is not fighting. The number 7 guy is Bivol. Bivol and Beterbiev has not fought each other. So Dmitry Bivol is my number 7 guy. And again, quality wins. Performances is always stellar. Not quite the monster that Beterbiev is, but as far as boxing skills, he's one of the very best in the world, in my opinion. You know, and if I'm going by subjective just skills and based on what I see in the ring, is this guy is probably my top 3 as far as skills. The thing is, he only has 1 title in 1 division. And, you know, he hasn't unified yet. He hasn't fought Beterbiev yet. But what did he do? He did beat Canelo pretty easily. He did beat Ramirez pretty easier, even easier than Canelo. I know this year he only fought Lyndon Arthur this year. And I know that's not a big win. It's just a stay busy fight. But again, it's really between him and Beterbiev. And the reason you could mismatch these two, the reason why I got Bivol a little bit ahead of him is because he beat like the pound for pound fighter in Canelo Alvarez. And I know he was the bigger guy, but it's the way that he did it. It's the way that he did it. You know, that's why I say performance is so high on this list and quality wins is because it's the way he made it look easy. Maybe Beterbiev, if he had the opportunity to fight Canelo, maybe he would have been the first to stop Canelo. I don't know. We will never know unless they fight. But Bivol got to him, and Bivol did the thing. I hate that he lost a lot of buzz from that win, especially with the win with that and the win against Gilberto Ramirez, who a lot of people felt Zerto was being ducked by both Bivol and Canelo. That was an argument in 2022. Not now. So I have Bivol number 7. Number 6, I got to give it to Teofimo Lopez, man. He's made a comeback. You know, I mean, he's had a tough career. He's been fighting the best. I mean, he was pressing the best. He's took his losses. He's bounced back. You know, had tough fights. Sandor Martin was a tough fight. Obviously, he lost to Kambosos. But man, you got a clear win to over Lomachenko, in my opinion. I know some people try to make it out to be a draw and all this stuff. But you got the clearest win against Lomachenko in my mind, and based on what I've seen, you have the clearest win, best win against Lomachenko, and you also got the first win against Joseph Parker. You know, even if Parker was coming off a win where he didn't look good, it's the fact that Teo went up in weight, you know, and a lot of people were writing him off, and he was able to go up there and dominate. Did I say Joseph Parker before? I keep thinking of Joseph Parker. I'm thinking of Jesus Christ. I hate when I forget names. Who was the guy? Josh. Let me look it up. Taylor. Josh Taylor. I'm bugging. He beat Josh Taylor. And he is also a champion. He's also champion in another division. You know, I mean, you got to give credit for Teofimo Lopez. It's quality wins, not just titles, not just holding on to titles. He got quality wins, former unified champion. That was a great win. I mean, he was hurting Josh Taylor throughout the fight. It was just a really good win, you know. And I don't know. Again, he has other performances not so good. But again, when it's time to step up, and he fought the very two best fighters on his resume, which is Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, he stepped up the most when it was time to. And I gotta give him a lot of credit, and that's part of the reason why he's number 6. All right, number 5 is Devin Haney. I mean, young fighter. What is he? 24 years old, undisputed in 135, officially undisputed, not disputable undisputed, but undisputed where you can't say shit. He is undisputed. All right. He became undisputed by beating the same guy, George Kambosos, that beat Teofimo Lopez. He beat him twice. You got to give him credit for that. He beat Lomachenko, very controversial, but he beat Lomachenko this year. He beat, also, he just went up to another division, beat Regis Prograis. Some say might be timing. Regardless, he has the win. You know, the other top guy, former top guy at 140, Regis Prograis, dominated him, shut him out, dropped him, hurt him. Best performance in his career. And he did both, fighting Loma this year, fighting Prograis this year, getting wins over them both, fighting Kambosos twice last year, becoming undisputed. I mean, you have to put him up high. You know, T.O., I would say T.O. above him because of the quality of wins too. But again, it's about being undisputed, being really undisputed, and also going up and doing the same thing and winning a title in another division against another top guy. I have to give it to Haney. You know, Haney beat the guy that Teofimo lost to, and plus went and beat other two guys that are really, really good. I have to put Haney just barely above him in the 5th spot. Number 4 spot is a guy that I've had here at the 1 spot at one point, but right now I have him at the number 4 spot. That's Canelo Alvarez. He's there because he's Canelo, you know. I know he didn't have some of the most greatest performance after he became undisputed at super middleweight. You know, I know he didn't have some of the best performances. You had the Triple G trilogy that a lot of people didn't care for because he kind of burnt out in the end, the last championship rounds. Then he had the John Ryder fight where, you know, he kind of burned out in that fight too. So people started saying, oh, maybe he's not the same anymore. You know, you had all that. You had a loss to Bivol as well. And then he fought Jermell Charlo where obviously he dominated Jermell Charlo. It was pretty much a shutout. Jermell Charlo didn't engage, but then again, he also fought a guy that moved up from 2 divisions to fight him. But I still have Canelo up there. He's number 4 for me, simply because as far as resume and as far as career, he's the most accomplished fighter in all of the fighters in boxing, actively boxing right now. All right, he's accomplished the most. Bud is not too far from him. I mean, Bud in the new way, you can make the argument because they both got 2 division, you know, undisputed, you know, which Canelo has 1, but Canelo won titles in more divisions. And overall, he just fought better quality fighters. Win or loss, he fought way better quality fighters than both of them. You know, it is what it is. You know, Floyd Mayweather, Ersling, Lara, Triple G, Bivol, the list goes on and on and on. Canelo, as far as the names and the quality of opponents, he's unmatched, right? But he's at number 4 right now. Number 3, I have Alexander Usyk. You know, I mean, at this point, these top 4 has been in my top 4 for the last few years. It's just the order has changed a little bit, but Usyk has always been the 3rd or maybe 4th spot for me. Usyk had a great career, you know, had a phenomenal cruiserweight career. I think things got a little tricky up at, you know, heavyweight, especially because everything he's been going through with the Ukraine and trying to secure a decisive Fury undisputed fight. But again, he's number 3. He has one of the best wins in all of heavyweight with Anthony Joshua. 2 wins against Anthony Joshua. Joshua got a lot of names on his resume. A lot of names. A lot of wins against really good fighters. Andy Ruiz, Dillian White, Alexander Povetkin. Vladimir Klitschko. The list go on and on and on. And Usyk, when Usyk got in there with Joshua, he beat him twice, clearly. And let's not talk about winning the World Boxing Super Series and beating everybody at cruiserweight that had some sort of name and recognition. All the older guys like Mark Hook and all the newer guys like Breedis and stuff. You beating all of those guys and then go up to heavyweight and beat Anthony Joshua twice. I mean, he could clearly, if he beats Tyson Fury, he could be number one. You know, I would have to put him at number one if he is to beat Tyson Fury and become 2-division undisputed champion. But, I mean, really good quality wins. If he beat Tyson Fury, he'll be number one in my eyes. You beat Fury and you beat Joshua, no one can say that they beat Joshua and Fury. All right, so, but we got to wait and see how that fight goes. But he's at number 3 right now. And I know he had a rough year because he had a fight with Triple D. Very controversial because of the body shot. A lot of people feel that he should have been stopped, but it is what it is. It's a win. He still got the stoppage. You know, if anything, Triple D should have capitalized. It's not like he got disqualified for the shot. Triple D should have still won the fight, but he was burnt out and he just got schooled and he got stopped. All right, so we're on the last 2. I know this is what everybody's waiting for. I had to think this hard because Inoue was fighting the other day. You know, he's become undisputed in the 2nd division, beating Marlon Tapales. All right. He had a great year. He just became undisputed at 118, beating Paul Butler, being, you know, Nito Donaire and stuff. He's like a 4-division champion at this time. So it was hard because he has 1 division ahead of Bud Crawford. But Bud Crawford also has the best win of the year and the best performance of the year in my eyes. So I had to put Inoue at number 2. All right. I know that most of this video is going to be about that in the comments. Cool. Reply to me in the comments, but reply to the comments you see. It's really depending on what you like and your preference. If you think Inoue should be number 1 because you think he's the best in the world, Inoue has done it in a shorter period of time than Bud Crawford. He's younger. He's done it multi-divisionals. You know, I get it. The wins are good. Beating Stephen Fulton was an amazing win, and his performance was top notch. He destroyed Fulton. Struggled a little bit against Tapales. It's just that Tapales has ended up just being better than a lot of us expected. I'm sure he was better than a lot of people expected too when he fought MJ. Tapales is a really good fighter. Very good defense. 2 really good wins this year. 2 really good wins. Bud has the biggest win of the year. Period. I mean, if you're a content creator like myself, this Bud and Spence thing has gone for years. It's gone for years. It's been a 5-year war. All right. Spence has been pound for pound in a lot of people's eyes for years and somewhere on our list. You know, a lot of people had him top 5 easily for years, and Bud beat him better than any other performance this year by far. Fulton, great win. Tapales, great win. The Spence win is just on a different level. It's a different level. It's a different quality win. It's the best quality win in all of boxing in 2023. It's the best performance in all of 2023. You just beat a guy that was unified, that had all the 3 other titles. He was the king of the PBC fighters. And I know that might not mean much to you, but it's like whoever Spence didn't fight, or whoever wasn't PBC, Bud cleaned it up on the outside. Those were the top 2 guys. And there wasn't no extreme favorite in that fight. Bud was a slight favorite to win because a lot of people thought Spence would beat him because of his size, because of his strength, because of his power. And I know this is about careers. I know Inoue has done it quicker. I know, but again, politics with boxing held this fight off. This could have been all done at least a couple of years ago. This could have been done earlier. I know Bud only fought once this year, but again, he fought once because he had to secure the big one, and it was well worth it. All right, the moment was crazy. I don't think you can top that. I don't think you can top that. I know Inoue, he's picking up titles in different divisions. He's probably gonna go to 126, and I think at some point, when it's all said and done, Inoue possibly will finish his career at a higher level than Bud based on what he may do in the future. Bud will probably not be around as long. So Inoue can win titles in 2 more divisions and retire above Bud and some of the other guys from this past generations. But right now, at this moment, I have Bud number 1. I have Bud number 1 because of that win, that signature win. Some, you're going to pick the other 2 wins over the one Spence win. That's fine. That's on you. But I think these 2 are clearly the number 1 and 2 guys. You know, A1, A2, whatever you want to put it. You could go either way based on preference. But what's more important to me is the quality of the win and the performance. And I think Bud had the best performance of 2023, period. All right. All right. So anyway, that is my pound for pound list. I said this was going to be a quick video. Of course it won't. It's never quick with me. I'm always rambling for a long time. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the list. I know it's not going to be the perfect list, but I try to use logic on why I put these fighters here, based on things that I like in boxing and that I want for the future going into 2024. You know, I think politics plays a huge role when it comes to titles, rankings, all of that stuff, promotions as well. Hopefully, especially because we got the Day of Reckoning card where Eddie and Frank were actually working together to put on this card. Hopefully we could go into 2024 so we can get more fights without any more additional promotional issues moving forward. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave comments, like the video, and leave comments to the comments that'll be left, because I know there's gonna be a lot of angry people here. I'm expecting it. All right, so anyway, I'm out of here. Y'all have a good night. Peace.